It's my final day here at the Esden Stronghold before we head back to New York because we're a week away from Monday Night Football, 7 days away from Jets football being back. And there were some ESPN articles talking about expectations, big things, small things. We'll react to all of it, plus your phone calls and so much more. It's a Labor Day. Let's roll.
I'm going to lose my gosh darn bananas. Boy Green Daily starts now. Zoinks!
I made it clear that my intention was to play, and my intention was to play for the New York Jets.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Paul Ashton Jr., a.k.a. Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. Welcome to Boy Green Daily, a daily New York Jets video show, also available wherever you get your podcast. And it is a hop-on-pop takeover. Both yesterday's show and today's show have included my father here live as we're on the same camera, same location, same place, and we'll be together in 16 days plus. Maybe make that 17 days because we'll be here right before, but 17 days away from the New York Jets home opener against the New England Patriots on September 19th. It's going to be terrific. And let's welcome in my cohort for today's festivities before we head on out, like I said, on the road trip to New York. Pop, welcome back.
Oh, it's great to be here. It's great to be here. And it's going to be, as the season gets closer, we're T-minus 7 days to Monday Night Football. Jets, 49ers, going to be exciting. Football all week. Can't wait.
All right, crack open your cold one. I know you didn't want to do it in the middle of the intro. Go ahead. Crack it. Ah, nice.
It's never too early.
Never is. So, like I said, there was plenty of ESPN things we're going to react to in terms of their predictions and expectations for the season. Also, I'd like to remind you guys that heading into the chat, let me make sure I get my number right here. We, at the beginning of the show, we're 37 members away from the Imanji being unlocked, and my father and Snowball have been talking about the key details behind the scenes. We are 37 members away today. Again, after the show's over, we're doing a wonderful breakfast, and then I'm headed out on the road. So we'll see if we can unlock the Imanji at some point today. The pinned comment on YouTube is how you can punch your own ticket into becoming a Boy Green Coffee Club member. But if you'd like to give the memberships and help us get there, if you hit the little money sign when you're watching, the final option, there's a bunch of options that pop up in front of you. The final one is gift membership. You can gift 1, 3, 5, 10, or even 50. Feel free to click that and gift as many as you'd like to. Again, help us push it over the goal line and get us there, and hopefully we can celebrate that throughout today's show. So let those emojis fly. And I see that we got a lot of people already in here. So Pop, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna throw something that ESPN has prognosticated, and you can either we might not have to go to the wherever that is, the BS bell or whatever you call it. So hopefully we don't have to go to that thing, but you could just believe, kind of share your take on whether you think it's realistic or it's complete BS, whether good or bad or indifferent for throwing them out there. Pop, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, we're going to start with this. Again, some of these prognostications are from Mike Clay, and some of them are from their ESPN metric system. We'll start off here. This is some Mike Clay numbers here. Projected defense. Mike Clay has the Jets as the second best defense in the NFL, only going to allow 339 points a season. That's only behind Cleveland this season. So again, the second best defense, points allowed, is normally one of the top metrics you evaluate with defenses. Can the Jets be the second best defense in the NFL this year?
Yeah, I definitely think they can. Really, the interesting question is how they can overcome, right? Whether Haason Reddick shows up this week or not. I expect him to show up tomorrow. If he doesn't show up this week or not, how this complement of the undrafted free agents going to fill up that line, solidify that line, and really interesting is third on that list is the San Francisco 49ers, which would be a stiff test for all Aaron Rodgers and all the weapons that he has. So it really couldn't be a better litmus test for the Jets, both on offense against the number 3 projected ranked defense on points allowed, and the weapons that they have in Aaron Rodgers at his disposal. It's going to be a phenomenal game.
All right, let's play them. Shout out to Jared B, who gifted this membership. Kyle Boyle, you've been now gifted a membership to the Boy Green Coffee Club. That comes with a loyalty badge. You can use all our new emojis that Snowball has created and access to the Discord channel as well, where it's, again, a live chat room with all the exclusive members of the Boy Green Coffee Club. We talk about everything. Fantasy, NFL, Madden, even some of the things that happened during the shows, we expanded on. Jerby just dropped that in there. We are now 36 members away, baby. So the countdown continues to Imanji. And we'll see if we can get there as well. And I agree. I think the Jets could be one of the best defenses in the NFL. We'll see if that is indeed the case. All right, let's go to another one.
Before we go any further. All right, calm down.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Wind it down.
All right.
Pump the brakes, Sparky. All right, so here we go. One of the other items, I think it was Phil Florida 98, whatever.
FL Phil 98?
Yes, him.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, I had all the pieces in there.
Yeah.
One of the things that he asked for, and I think Mr. Badshaw asked for, is for us to do weekly picks. So we talked about it. We really wouldn't fit on this show. Really is a little outside the realm of Jets content to take one Boy Green morning show, which is what it takes for all the picks. So we're going to do something on Discord. It's going to be Discord only of items. So you need to sign up to be a Boy Green Coffee Club member to get our picks throughout the season. It might be a video. It might be an article. We're still working that out, but it will be on Discord only.
Yes, that will be an exclusive item. So, again, if you want to see all the NFL picks that we make, and, again, that will obviously go beyond the Jets for NFL content. Again, that will be another exclusive perk to being a member of the Discord channel. Again, folks, it's only $2.99 a month. So I see that we have a lot of people that are just watching the show, whether it's not to call people out, but Jet Beast Girl, Alan, Dakota, Matthias. These are people that are not Boy Green Coffee Club members, or Marcos Miranda. Some of these people that aren't in the Coffee Club. You can punch yourself in. It's very easy. It's only $2.99 a month. Or you could just hopefully get gifted a membership by one of these other very generous individuals if that does indeed happen. So that is another one of the perks. Thank you, Dad, for that shout out.
Did you say you weren't going to call people out, and then you called people out?
I did, yeah. It's like one of those things that I don't mean to interrupt, but interrupt. You know what I mean? So,
well, in a minute, I'm not going to mean to throat punch you, but let's see what happens.
Okay, well, consider called out people. And again, you can become a Coffee Club member with the pinned comment on YouTube, and it should, help you whether you're watching on your phone or on your desktop. It should work all the same. Here's another one. Here's another thing from Mike Clay. He indicates his team-by-team rankings. He has the New York Jets as the third best team in the NFL, only behind the San Francisco 49ers, the Kansas City Chiefs, and here's the blurb that Mike Clay wrote for this. Quote, "Don't laugh. With a loaded defense, healthy Aaron Rodgers, and improved offensive supporting cast, including a potentially elite offensive line with the addition of left tackle Tyron Smith, the Jets own one of the league's best rosters." Jets, third best team in the league.
Well, my reaction to that is I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be in contention. Just we talked about in yesterday's show, those last 2 weeks, right? Buffalo, Miami, that's really there. It's going to be a blood slobber knocker, blood fest. Blood's going to be drawn. It's going to be, and that's really what's going to decide who's going to win the division. I think potentially 3 teams come out of the AFC East. And so I'm not sure. 3 is a little lofty. We don't know what we don't know, right? So we didn't get to see Aaron Rodgers. He didn't have Mike Williams. He didn't have these better complement running backs or the offensive line in front of him. So we don't know what we don't know. 3, I would say, is pretty lofty. I think they're one of the top 5 teams in the AFC, currently speaking. Have the potential to be one of the top 5 teams in the AFC. Top 3 in the NFL, maybe they can matriculate there. I don't think they start off the season there. I think it's a little high, realistically speaking.
Realistically speaking, I'm in complete agreement that I disagree completely with the number 3 ranking because they should be number 1, baby. They should be top billing, top max. But that's neither here nor there. So we're in agreement with the disagreement. Yeah.
As we salute the Imamji It's interesting that she did repeatedly drop you on your head as a child. So there is probably something with that.
No, don't remember that. Anywho, let's go to the next thing here. And if you like that last one, you're going to love this one. Again, this is from Mike Clay. He has the Jets winning the Super Bowl over the San Francisco 49ers. So week 1 will be a rematch if he is to be said correctly. Here is his blurb on that. Again, Mike Clay predicting the Jets will beat the 49ers in the Super Bowl this year. Quote, the Chiefs will certainly give them a run for their money, but I made the case that the Jets will win the Super Bowl way back in May, and I stand by it. Kyle Shanahan's 49ers are the class of the NFC, but will fall just short of the gold for the second year in a row. Hoisting the Lombardi, beating the 49ers have been, that's got to be good for you, Cowboys guy, with all these 49ers being around all over the business. That was the rival there in the 90s. Hey, we took care of business. You're welcome. Jets beating the 49ers, Super Bowl prediction, Mike Clay.
Yeah, I'll take the lower hanging fruit first. It's interesting for everybody to note that as long as it's been for some teams to win the Super Bowl, it's longer for the 49ers, just for the record. The last time that the 49ers won a Super Bowl, Steve Young and spanking the monkey or monkey off his back or whatever stupid ass thing he said, he beat up on the pitiful baby seal of the Chargers, who would have been beaten by 7 teams in NFC. It was embarrassing. I don't remember the final score was 55 to something. It was embarrassing. But that's the last time the 49ers won the Super Bowl. That was back in 1995. So as much as we like to pick on other teams, it's been longer for the 49ers. By the way, they will not be in the Super Bowl. We'll talk about the Jets in a minute. 49ers will not be in the Super Bowl. They're going to fall off. That tumble in midseason last year, right? Everyone remembers the current stuff. In reality, the 49ers kind of fell out of grace in the middle of the season. I can't remember exactly. They had in a 6-game stretch there. I think they lost like 3 or 4 in a row. So they're still there. I think they're going to drop off. There's going to be a hangover headache. Purdy's going to wake up and realize he's probably not going to get paid $60 million a year. He's probably in the $30 or $40 million range. So long story short, a few hot takes there. 49ers will not be in the Super Bowl. Now, we'll segue over to the Jets.
There's a long pause there.
And this is not hate. And that wasn't hate for the 49ers.
That felt like hate. That felt like very vehement, passionate hate.
No, I just think they're dropping off. I mean, I'm just talking about the facts. Okay. They're not going to make it. I mean, It is what it is. I mean, they're not going to be pathetic at the level of the Giants. But they're just not going to make it.
Who, by the way, because you brought up the Giants, just so Jet fans love enjoying making fun of the Giants, Mike Clay has the Giants as the worst team in football this year. And what are the other? Again, I don't want to scroll back up because we're going through all this Jet stuff, but the Giants are supposed to be like, just terrible in every facet. So yikes, sucks to be Big Blue, I guess.
Yeah, well, it really does. I mean, when we all make bad decisions, right? The Jets going into last year intentionally didn't, bite the bullet and cut Zach Wilson, right? Because they were worried about the money. Mm-hmm. And so obviously the Giants aren't going to do anything. He had like a good 3-game stretch, Jones, and then they hand him the keys to the bank, right? And so they decide not to rip the Band-Aid off like the Broncos did with Russell Wilson. And I don't blame them for that. But every Giants fan should recognize when they let Saquon Barkley walk away, I said his name wrong.
Yeah.
When they let
Saquon
Barkley, when they let him walk away, they're going to tank this year. They may try to the best of their ability with the players they have, but there's no way that they are easily the worst team in the NFL. And if they win 3 games, that'd be phenomenal for them. Wow. They should throw a parade.
Okay, now you can get to your Jets take.
We'll go to the Jets take. Yeah, long story short, I think the Jets will break the longest drought for the playoffs in professional sports. I think that will happen. I think they'll win a playoff game.
Great.
I think the Jets fans, that's probably good.
Oh boy.
I don't see them going to the Super Bowl. That's not, you don't go. Very, very few teams have ever gone from out of the playoffs for 13, 14, whatever it is, years in a row to winning the Super Bowl. It doesn't happen. Normally there's a progression of building, and they've got a lot of talent. Mm-hmm. But Aaron Rodgers has only played 1 series for them
in like 20 months.
In 20 months.
Yeah.
So I think he will do great things. I think he will, if he stays healthy, lead the Jets to the playoffs and a playoff win. I think it's a lot. It's an unrealistic expectation to do more than that. Playoffs and a win, maybe getting to the second or third round of the playoffs, maybe Super Bowl. It's just too much. And it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, the only example I would pluck from the old cherry tree is something we just happened in 2020, where the Bucs had missed the playoffs for somewhere in the ballpark. Not obviously as long as the Jets, it was 10, 11 years. John Gruden, that Giants appearance was the last time the Buccaneers were in the playoffs. They went on that long drought. Tom Brady arrives, booyah, first year Super Bowl. So, yeah, there is it's happened, not very often, but it has happened in the past. So maybe there could be some parallels drawn between the New York Jets and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, perhaps making that happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's a direct parallel there, right? They brought in the hired gun, right? Tom, whatever his name is, Lady, or
sure,
Tom the bitch, whatever his name is. Anyway, so they brought him in, and we have Aaron Rodgers. So there is a parallel there. I just think we don't know how the Jello mold has set. We have all these ingredients. We mixed them up. I mean, it's a significant turnover from a team that, and we'll talk about this in a minute, right? They won 7 games last year. Did it feel like they won 7 games? It didn't feel like it to me, and I watched a lot of them, right? If you thought back, and what was your gut feel last year? Like 4 wins? You know what I'm saying? It just felt bad. And 7 wins is not that bad, especially with what they went through, right? And yeah, it's just going to be interesting. So we got to let this Jello mold set before we really know what we have. So it's going to be interesting. And what better than a Monday night slobber knocker? So yeah, hopefully they can take it to the next level. But really, the team hasn't been together long enough to be able to really solidly feel good about a Super Bowl win.
Yeah. So just speaking of that, I want to go to a different Rich Cimini article just because you brought that up this morning. Rich Cimini wrote a column on Robert Saleh. He's talking about the 7 wins. You're like, oh boy, how did that even happen? Well, here's how bizarre it was. They won 7 games with the subpar quarterback play that we talked about. It was a league low 23.4 QBR as a team last year. And of the 26 teams since 2012, hear this stat. This is from Rich Cimini, so shout out to Rich Cimini of ESPN. Of the 26 teams since 2012 that averaged fewer than 17 points per game in a season, the 2023 Jets compiled the best winning percentage of any of those teams. So long story short, it wasn't a disaster. There are embers of hope. The defense was really good. The special teams unit was really good. Defense was constantly put in terrible positions, but they were able to overcome it. If you get the competent quarterback play on the other side and you pair it with this, all of a sudden, perhaps, just perhaps, the Jets can make a lot of noise this season. Again, we'll see if that is indeed going to happen. Shout out to everyone who's watching. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe, and spread the good gospel, Boy Green Daily. Go ahead, Father.
Yeah, and I will tell you this. We're gonna talk later, I think, about the Jets coaching staff.
Yes.
But I will tell you that every leader of every department, the quarterback's coach, the running back's coach, I don't have the breakdown of which each of those the Jets have, but I will tell you that every person that has that responsibility has got to have this guy. So if we're in a pinch, I'm calling this guy. I know here's my top 3 replacements for my positions that I'm responsible for. And I'm not sure who that person is at the Jet. In the end, for the Jets, in the end, it's Nathaniel Hackett. And so that they didn't have someone like that in the quarterback room, because who did they bring up? It was Boyle, somebody's kid from
Trevor Siemian, Zach Wilson.
Who's the other one that they got from Ripon?
Brett Ripon. He never played, but he was the breaking class emergency. Right,
So that's what they had. That was in their back pocket, And so it's interesting. I'll do a parallel, right? So every position coach should have that, right? So back, and I'll just use this reference because it's, a lot of people know that Kurt Warner was, a stock boy.
Yep.
When he was doing a barnstormer in the Arena Football League before he made his debut. What you didn't know is back in 1994, right, the position coach, and it happens to the little Dallas Cowboy history, for the Dallas Cowboys running backs, Emmett had been hurt when he had missed 2 games, needed hurt. They had no depth at running back. They called up Lincoln Coleman. You can take your opportunity to Google that. Lincoln Coleman. The guy was loading home trucks at the Home Depot, and he came and played for the Cowboys and put some solid contributions in, led to a couple wins, and then he petered away into the distance. But that's what I'm talking about. You need to have the board. All right, it's Lincoln Coleman, right? Who's Lincoln Coleman? No one else knows about him. Well, you know what? He came in and helped us win 2 games, and Emmitt Smith is hurt. That's what you need to have. That's the depth. That's why the Jets, even with their pathetic play on the offense last year, if they had plug in a Flacco, I know we don't like to talk about Flacco, plug in a Flacco, the Jets go to the playoffs last year and win a playoff game. The drought ends. So that position coach for the quarterbacks, and I'll default to be Hackett, that's a failure of him not to be ready. Because obviously, is it Boyle? That's who he had on the top of his list, or some of these other people we just mentioned. So that was a failure. They did an amazing job. It speaks to the strength of the defense. Whether they're 2 or 1, the strength of the defense is why they won 7 games last year, clearly. And so every position coach, really, my point is, has to have that. Who's my go-to person? I'm gonna pull off the couch, the bench, or someone else's practice squad.
All right, let's go through a couple more of these here, and then we'll open up the phone lines here. So these are some more projections from ESPN and some of their analytics. Their FPI, which is their Football Power Index, has the Jets as the 12th best team in the league. They have a 24.6% chance to win the division. They have not won the AFC since 2002. They have a 52.9% chance of making the playoffs. Again, these are all ESPN's analytics. And they project them to be a 9-8 football team this year. And their strength of schedule is 9th easiest in the league. So I guess we'll just kind of start off there with those numbers. Is there anything that seems off kilter to you when you look at those first couple of bullet points? 12th best team in the league, 25% chance to essentially win the division, plus 50+% chance to make the playoffs, 9-8, top 10 easiest schedule in the NFL.
Yeah, so I'll just start at the top. And it seems ridiculous, except I'm going to talk about a different percentage for chance to win the division, but they do it down to 24.6%. So I guess I can make a slight adjustment. I think the Jets are a 35 to 40% chance to win the division.
Oh,
right. Wow. Somewhere, I think we don't know where Buffalo's at with their wide receivers. That's why it's a little higher than a 1 in 3% chance, about 35 to 40%. So that's where I'm at, chance to win the division. And it gets down to those last 2 games, Miami, Buffalo. And really, people talk about, I think it was a poll by NFL players, right? Who's the most overrated player in the NFL, right? And it came out to Josh Allen as number 1.
Yes.
And so we're about to find out if that's true or not true when he comes out with this list of magoos that he's throwing the ball to this year, right? So I think that the first off the bat, it's 35 to 40% chance to win the division.
Okay. And 50, I assume with your 35-40, that makes it very easy for playoffs and projected win totals. Let's go through a couple of,
Yeah, I would say their chance of making the playoffs, I have them at 75% chance to make the playoffs. And I still am holding fast to my prediction of 11 to 12 wins,
which is well above the mock. And then again, the Jets, here's where the benefit is and where things can kind of change. The Jets obviously finished in 3rd place. They have a 3rd place schedule. So in theory, that should make things a lot easier in terms of the opponents they play versus Buffalo, who did win the division last second in the final game of the year. They play a 1st place schedule. Their schedule much more difficult, obviously, and how it sets up.
Yeah, and just to be clear, my take is not that Josh Allen's the most overrated. That was voted on by the players. That's not a Paul Esden Sr. That is a fact. It's an article. Go out there and it's worth a googly on that for you. But yeah, it's not my take. I don't think he's the most overrated player. He's a tough-nosed quarterback, and I think he'll play well. But I think you cannot not have a drop-off when you lose your top 2 receivers.
Okay, you can both react to what other people put in. So there's a couple of questions like biggest strength, biggest concern, and fantasy sleeper candidate. So we'll go through those 3, and you can react to the answers that ESPN has provided, and feel free to provide your own answer. So biggest strength, Rich Cimini of ESPN had Aaron Rodgers as his biggest strength. He did note that he has not played in essentially 20 months, if you put it all together in terms of a full game. But he said this, quote, his mere presence should elevate an offense that scored a league-low 18 touchdowns in 2023. The duo of Rodgers and wide receiver Garrett Wilson dominated all summer. He believes the biggest strength for the Jets is the improvement of the quarterback position, and Aaron Rodgers looking, quote-unquote, terrific during the offseason thus far.
So we're going to go through these. Start off with the biggest strength. I think the biggest strength is not Aaron Rodgers. I think the biggest strength is that defense. I think the Jets will continue to rely on the defense. I think now, we talked about it yesterday, if you thought about it as a pie, who's making the contributions to the Thanksgiving dinner, the defense is still at 60%, 65%, with the offense at 35 to 40%. So I do think that.
Yeah, I will just say I'll piggyback. There is no team, and I could say this with the utmost confidence, that had insert quarterback play last year and has insert quarterback play this year. There is no team that has a bigger differential than the Jets, who are at 32, and let's put Aaron Rodgers at 15 for giggles. To have that kind of a jump, I don't think any other team is going to have that kind of jump. And you pair it with the good defense, everything else you have. I think that is the strength. That's the difference. We've been saying for years, man, this team just needs a quarterback. This team just needs a quarterback. And that's where they've gone from that perspective. Let's go to biggest concern here next on the list. Now, Rich Cimini provided this. His answer was depth on the defensive line. He talked about Bryce Huff being gone. JFM, Quentin Jefferson. People forget about Quentin Jefferson. Those three names, Huff, JFM, and Jefferson, combined for 19.5 sacks and over 1,600 snaps. So, again, 19.5 sacks and 1,600 plus snaps. And to replace them is Haason Reddick. He's still holding out. We don't need to talk about him today. But Javon Kinlaw is a replacement, and Will McDonald having an expanded role. Again, to reiterate, Cimini's question, biggest concern is the depth on the defensive line for a defense that relies heavily on the rotation up front.
Yeah, I think he's out to lunch on his biggest concern. That's not a concern.
Okay.
I would tell you my biggest concern, and it showed itself, if you hearken back to the what do they call it, live scrimmage with other team.
A joint practice.
Joint practice, right? My biggest concern is this. From what I read, heard, saw, the middle of the line was getting blown up, right? In that joint practice with one of the teams that they did. And so to me, it's the offensive line, the cohesiveness. I think they've solidified the outsides. They got, Fashanu ready to come off the bench. Right. It's the middle of the line holding up, and then the mobility and the risk of Aaron Rodgers. That's my biggest concern. Now, I'm not saying that's an overwhelming concern. I'm saying, you asked me my question, what's the biggest concern? That's my biggest concern. That offensive line, the ability to hold up, to play together. Because with the replacement and moving people around, how many of that offensive line has played any snaps together? Right? It's a dance. It looks like you think about it, you get, 5 big guys, 5 big fat guys that line up. But there's intricacies, there's play calls, they play off each other. There's a lot more to it than, people realize. And so that concerns me, especially in the first 1 or 2 games against a stout defense of the 49ers. They do some trickery or trickery, can you say? Anyways, they do some trickery at the beginning of the season. There's a concern, right? We got to keep Aaron Rodgers on his feet. He's got to be more aware, more willing to get rid of the ball, throw it away, whatever it takes. So that's my biggest concern. On a scale of 1 to 10, it's like a 3. So it's not a high 3 or 4, but it is something that is my biggest concern.
Yeah, the only one I would add is, the Jets have been incredibly unfortunate on the offensive side of the ball as it pertains to injuries. But on the defense side of the ball, they've been incredibly fortunate. They have not had a lot of big injuries on the defensive side of the ball, and those sort of things seem to rotate over time. So the Jets have had no big injuries so far, blessed be he, and hopefully that continues throughout the season. But the Jets not having any recent history of big defensive injuries scares me, because that's part of the reason that this Jets defense has been able to stay really good in top 5 in each of the last 2 years. We have not seen the Jets defense be top 5 in 3 straight years in a long time. Defensive injuries, the chances of Lady Luck flipping the other way after all these years of us being blessed from that perspective, that is certainly one that freaks me out. And we'll end with two things, actually. So, fantasy sleeper candidate, Matt Bowen, he's also part of the ESPN crew. He has Braylon Allen, the Jets' fourth-round draft choice out of Wisconsin, as a sleeper candidate. And I've done 2 of my 4 fantasy drafts so far, so hopefully people from the other 2 are not listening here because I love this pick. It's one of my final picks in every fantasy draft is Braylon Allen. I get the handcuff to Breece Hall, even if I don't have Breece Hall. And just in general, I think Braylon Allen is going to be the closer for this Jets team this year. When there's 8 minutes left in the game and the Jets are up 7, 10, 14, I don't think they want to pound Breece Hall into the universe. I think what they want to do is say, hey, young buck, Braylon Allen, the youngest guy in the entire National Football League, 6'1", 235 pounds. You're the one who gets in there, buddy, and finishes off the game with thunderous, aggressive, physical, violent plays. He's my fantasy sleeper candidate as well. So I agree with Matt Bowen here on Braylon Allen. Matt Bowen is the one who suggested any Jets fantasy sleeper candidates, Pop.
Yep, I'm going to go with my guy, the Yak champion, Malachi Corley. I think he's going to surprise people. I think he's going to have 30 to 40 catches, but I also think that he's going to have a 6-pack of touchdowns. So, that's not over the top. But those are solid numbers for a first-year slot receiver. So, 30 to 40 catches, 6-pack of touchdowns. Okay. Write that down.
All right, beautiful. That'd be wonderful. We'll end on this, and then we'll open up the phone lines for the second half of the show. We'll probably be off at 8:30 because we got the breakfast, the smell of bacon. He doesn't have to give me any sort of bacon emoji. I can smell it myself from the other room. So we'll cut this off in about 29 minutes. So we'll try to get in as many phone calls as possible. But our final point is a bold prediction for 2024. FL Phil 98 asked you this yesterday. You kind of gave an NFL version, so if you could provide a Jets version. Rich Cimini's version is wide receiver Garrett Wilson will be a first-team All-Pro. He hasn't even been a Pro Bowler, so All-Pro going to the ultimate level there would be spectacular. And he believes Sauce Gardner will receive his 3rd nod. He is the only player in the modern era, that's 1970 and on, that has gotten a first-team All-Pro through his first 2 seasons. So obviously, he would be the first player to ever get it 3 times through 3 years in his career, which would be exceptional. So he has that as or Seth Walder, excuse me, not Rich Cimini. Seth Walder had that as his bold prediction. They're alternating analysts here throughout this article. So Garrett Wilson, first-team All-Pro, and Sauce Gardner, first-team All-Pro again. It's his bold prediction. What's yours, Pop?
Yeah, so this is going to make you happy.
All right.
It's Braylon Allen, right? He's gonna score at least 12 touchdowns.
Oh my God!
He's going to score at least 12 touchdowns. He's going to be north of 700 yards rushing. Yeah, and that could be a combination of things. I hope Breece Hall does not get injured. Okay. If he does, I don't think like days of the past it'll be a big fall off. But I do believe that he's going to be down. And you're on the 1-yard line. Who are you going to call, right? So 10 touchdowns, 700, 800 yards rushing. Really good compliment. 1-2 thunder and lightning and thunder. I guess back to the old Giants days. I know Giants make you smile today because you're pathetic. So, but thunder and lightning in the Jets is what they have in their running back backfield.
Well, if that's right, then I just made the greatest fantasy draft selection in the 14th round of all time to have a guy who's going to be scoring that much. But I think you're right. Short yardage situations, that's another situation. I'm seeing a lot of you guys drop yours in here. I love it. Ricky New York Live says T. Conk having 873 yards and 12 tutties. That's great. Alan Lazard, 500 yards and 5 touchdowns at least. That would be, wow, that would be terrific. So keep those bold predictions coming. Whether you're watching live or after the fact, drop them in, and I'll try to interact with those. And I'll definitely get to all our members to the Boy Green Coffee Club and interact with your comments. That's another perk of being on there. And I will give my prediction. I think Garrett Wilson is going to shatter the single-season record for the New York Jets in all 3 categories. That is, Brandon Marshall holds them all, and he's tied in touchdowns, but he holds that in first place. Brandon Marshall in 2015 had 109 receptions. He had 1,502 yards, and then he had 14 touchdowns. I believe Garrett Wilson will check each of those off the bucket list. Now, the people that are saying he's going to be the best receiver of all time in Jets history, whoa, John Maynard, hello. He is a Pro Football Hall of Famer and has had 4 of the 6 greatest single seasons in Jets history. So let's not get that far. But this would be an incredibly bold thing to happen, perhaps, in this season for Garrett Wilson.
Now, what was the yardage you predicted for him?
1,502 were Brandon Marshall. So I said Garrett Wilson will top all of those. So you'll have more than that. Now you'll have at least 1,503 then.
Wow. Yeah, I don't see that.
Okay.
I do think that there's going to be a lot of yardage. I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to throw for 3,500 to 4,000 yards. I think he's going to have multiple 1,000-yard receivers, but I don't think one is going to be that far above the others.
Okay, I respect it. And also, if we're speaking about bowl predictions, this is a guy that's been saying it for months. So I see Terrence Hill is in the chat. He said Garrett Wilson have 100 catches after week 10. So that would be 10 catches per game on that math. Beautiful. So we'll see if that is indeed the case, and that is going to happen. So we'll throw that one there as well. Let me just drop in here real quick the call-in link. Call into the show here. Let's see if we can get that in there. Or maybe a paste button. All right, there we are. And here we go. Okay.
Yeah. You ever see a monkey blank a football?
I still haven't, but thank you for that vivid image twice.
Well, you know what it looks like now.
All right, beautiful. So that is now, we've replaced the pinned message. It was for you to join the Boy Green Coffee Club. Now you can call into the show. That is the pinned comment on youtube.com/boygreen25. Thank you to the hundreds of people that are watching the show right now. We appreciate it. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. We're up to 400 people in the room. So guys, keep it up. That is terrific. Again, we're streaming on the Heavy on Jets Facebook page, Twitter at BoyGreen25, and youtube.com/BoyGreen25. If you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, you have to hop on over to my YouTube channel to call into the show, which, like I said, is the pinned comment on YouTube. So feel free, guys, to have that up. And I will see if Tommy says, my father looks like Nathaniel Hackett. I don't really see that one. Hopefully he has better efficiency than him. That'd be wonderful. That'd be wonderful.
Is that Conor McGregor there? He's got the double belts.
No, that's Breece Hall, who was a multi-time Rookie of the Week award winner during his season. So we love it there, Breece. That's okay, Dad. We forgive you. There's no question about it.
I don't think we do.
Yeah. Let's go to the phone lines. First off, Ricky, New York Live, baby. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's happening, Paul? How you doing, Senior?
Very good, very good. Ricky, I have a quick question for you before you have a question for us. Or a topic.
Okay.
What is your and I'm going to come up with a prediction here. We're going to do a prediction over under number of jerseys that Ricky owns. Over under, and I'm going to have my number. What's your number?
Okay, did you say it out loud?
Over under. Yep, say it out loud.
75.
75. I am going to go 63.
You're both under right now. I'm at like 112.
Woo! Okay, Price is Right rules, baby. I just won a new car. Showcase.
Moron. 100. Holy smokes.
Yeah, that's pretty damn good, Ricky. Pretty damn good, pal.
I hope they're hermetically sealed.
Yeah,
and
I've been stacking them up, and I could dig back into them and get Testaverde and Mo Lewis and Victor Green, and hell, I've even got a David Clowney. I've got a couple of crazy one-off ones like that. But yeah, I've got quite the collection. It's a little bit out of hand.
Do you have a Vernon Golston?
No, I do not. I do not. Wow. Okay.
That is impressive. I'm going to be honest. If Ricky came to a front of the room and said, folks, I've got 112 jerseys, and I come up and say, I've got one he doesn't. And then he's like, try me. Vernon Golston, 56, before he converted to 50, 2 years into his career. Nope. Okay, Paul, you have me beat. So, yes, Vernon Golston. There you go. Yeah, there you go.
That's definitely one that I don't have.
Is that one you want, Ricky, real quick? Is that one you want?
No, not at all. I'm actually going to have a few less jerseys because I think that like Zach Wilson and Marcus Gilchrist, I think they're going to find a new home at the Goodwill sometime this week. I'm actually going to get rid of a few.
Yeah, there you go.
Which I don't do often. Elijah Moore too. I don't usually do that, but I think those ones are going to go. But anyways, before I get to my Jets points, last night we had the draft for my fantasy football league.
Mm-hmm.
And St. Nicholas, who's one of Jake Asman's viewers, had the first overall pick. And with the first overall pick, he got a brand new baby boy because his wife went into labor and delivered just as our draft was starting.
Oh, that's
So,
amazing.
yes. So I want to say congratulations to Saint Nick. First of all, awesome, crazy timing. But
Hey, my next question is, did he get his pick in time, or what?
You know what? I think the computer picked for him on that first pick. But you know what? I did see during the draft it would say he joined the draft and then he left the draft. So I don't know if he was actually popping in and trying to make picks, or if like his phone was just in his pocket still trying to connect as he was doing what he was doing. I don't think he was actually coming in and out. I think his phone was just doing something. But
well, Ricky, next time, can you just tell him to get his priorities straight? I'd appreciate that moving forward.
Right. Yeah. I think he had the priorities right on. The computer can pick for you, and it's okay. Like the computer doesn't pick a bad team. You just have to go in and fix your individual defensive players because the computer, for whatever reason, Yahoo will pick all no-name defensive players for you, and it's been years and they still haven't fixed that. So I don't know why that is, but with an 8-team league, there's lots of good defenders still there, so it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But at any rate, on to Jets takes. I'll give you another bold prediction. Breece Hall, 1,800 yards on the ground, 700 plus receiving.
Oh my God, 2,500 scrimmage yards. That would reset the Jets record books. I believe Curtis Martin holds a single season record for scrimmage. And that's like 1,900 and change. So, hey, baby, sign me up.
Yeah. And you know what? I mean, that's the one thing is Curtis was a lot better receiver than people give him credit for. I mean, he wasn't Marshall Faulk, but dude, he was good out of the backfield. I was actually just watching some highlights over the weekend where Vinny hit him with like a long ball, and I was like, damn, I not often you saw him running a long route like that. But dude, I think Breece is going to have a year unlike anything we've ever seen. I think it's going to be kind of like that LaDainian Tomlinson record-breaking year. I think it's going to be, like those long touchdowns in back-to-back games versus the Packers and Broncos just before he got hurt. I think it's going to be like that week after week after week. It's going to be like, the Dalvin Cook college highlights. We're going to see more 60, 70-yard touchdowns than we've ever seen in our lifetime.
Terrific. Sign me up. That'd be great. Yeah,
Ricky, I like you. I love you, man. But I think you're a little strong in this prediction. And like a Georgia Tech field goal, I don't think it's going to play out.
That's not right.
Well, you know what? I could be wrong. It's rare, but it happens. But I don't think so, man. I really think with our line rebuilt and man, Breece has just got that breakaway speed. And hearing him recently say, like, I feel like I'm back to my old self, that just puts a big smile on my face. And I think this offense is going to run through Breece, and Rodgers and Garrett and everybody's going to do their damage, but I think it's going to be the Breece Hall show this year, and I'm looking real forward to it.
Yeah, and to be clear, I'm not saying I think he's going to get 1,200 yards rushing personally. I think his receiving is going to drop off because primarily he got so many yards because the quarterbacks didn't have the opportunity to throw the ball down the field. So I think it'll be spread around. He's going to still be a viable threat. He's going to get his catches. It's not going to be as significant as last year because he's going to spread the ball around more, having more time to throw the ball. But I'm not saying he's going to get 1,300 yards and 500 yards receiving. I think that's my thoughts.
Right. Hey, I still think he's going to be a bit more than that. I think some of those long runs are going to end up adding up. And that's the thing. Like, you always hear people say, like, oh, if he gets in the open field, he can take it to the house. Well, with Breece, that's especially true. So,
and I would just add in, he's going to be facing lighter boxes. If Aaron Rodgers show, and I think at first they're going to challenge. They're going to load guys in the box. Say, Aaron Rodgers beat us. And on the first play, they're like, oh, whoa, hey now. All right, back up, back up, back up. And then Breach just starts going buck wild. He was doing this when he was the only weapon on the field over the last 2 years. So, again, Ricky, I think that gives you credence. But, again, we'll have to see how it plays out. But that's why I lean more towards you.
Yeah, and then the Braylon Allen. That's, so I think they're going to be able to pace him. They didn't really have, for whatever reason, I don't think Dalvin Cook was a bad move. I think it was a tool in the shed, a weapon in our arsenal that we failed to utilize effectively. But I think Braylon Allen will be used more, and that will take, in the end, it'll take a little bit away from Breece, but in a good way.
Yeah, you know what? I completely agree with you there. That reminds me of the Miami game where Breece had the long runs, got stopped right at the goal line, and then Carter scored both the touchdowns and Breece didn't. I could see Allen getting a lot of goal line work, and being that change of pace. And Pops, I agree with what you say about Dalvin Cook. I remember last year during the year, I remember Saleh saying Dalvin's finally back to his old self. And then that following week at Houston, he had a 12 and a 14-yard run, and then we never saw him again. And it's and I know from, people who are familiar with that situation, and behind the scenes, he was complaining about his usage, but he never became a distraction. He was a good teammate while he was here. I think we just misused him. And all of our backs for that matter. We never let anybody get into any kind of rhythm. It was over rotating, which sometimes you can have too much of a good thing, but
that's right. And when Dalvin Cook gets a 1-yard run, it hurts, right? It hurts to tackle Dalvin Cook, right? So you let him do the 1-yard run. About the third time he does that 1-yard run, they're not going to want to tackle him, right? And Braylon Allen's going to be the same way.
Hey, we'll see how Dalvin does for your Dallas Cowboys this year. We'll see, really, if he's washed or if there's some chutzpah left there. There's no question about it. Florida State legend, Dalvin Cook, that is, Ricky.
Right on, right on. All right, guys. Well, you know what? We got 1 week to go, a week from tonight. And, man, I cannot wait.
It's going to be awesome, man. Thanks for tuning in, Ricky. We appreciate you, brother.
All right. Have a great day, guys.
All right, there he is. Before we get to our next caller, I do just want to address, I saw Matthias had a comment in here asking about my article. There it is. So Matthias said, Boy Green, expound on your article, Jets Reddick Glimmer of Hope. We talked about this on the show yesterday. I was able to finally write it this morning. But here's why, for those who may have missed the show, I know not everyone can tune in every single day to this stuff. The glimmer of hope is this. Reddick, of course, has been fined up the wazoo, so it's just under $5 million. Those fines stopped on Sunday because they can't fine him the $50,000 a day anymore because now we're into the season. So the things he can lose are game checks. If a veteran is on the roster and is on the roster week 1, their salary becomes guaranteed. Right now, his $14.25 million he's scheduled to make is non-guaranteed. If he reports, it's one of the days this week. Ritzamini knows a little bit better than me, but it's either today, tomorrow, Wednesday. One of those three is if he reports, he counts towards the roster, which means he's going to be part of that 53-man roster against the San Francisco 49ers. His $14.25 becomes guaranteed. If he does not show up, it continues to be non-guaranteed, and then things get funky once we go into the season. So that's the pivot point. How far is Haason Reddick willing to push this? We're about to find out. Because Ritzamini also said in the podcast and in the article, as you can see, that sometimes you speak with your agent and you say, okay, today's September 2nd. We are going to hold out all the way till September 1st. We're going to pull every stop. We're going to say whatever it takes to try to twist the knife in the Jets to make them pay us. If we get all the way through all the cards that we play and they still haven't paid us yet, fine, we'll show up and we'll just play very angry and get our money in the future. But everyone kind of has a line in the sand of what they want to do. That's why there appears to be, Ritzamini's words, a glimmer of hope. There are people inside the Jets building that believe he will show up today, tomorrow, Wednesday, somewhere in these next couple of days, which will end the holdout and hopefully get us all ready for next season. Pablo, looks like you wanted to contribute.
Yeah, I would just say, to me, he's going to show up tomorrow.
Okay.
He's going to show up tomorrow. And if he doesn't, all bets are off. Right? How far is he willing to go? If he doesn't show up tomorrow, I think he's going to show up whatever the applicable day is, week 6. so this season counts, right? To me, those are only two things. There's no way he holds out. It's this week, which makes the most sense, or it's week 6 where he can get the year credited and he really pokes the Jets in the eye. I really think those are the two options, but I'm 95% he shows up this week. If he doesn't, don't expect him to week 6 or the Jets roll. And by what we have seen, I don't see the Jets rolling over. They're full speed ahead. I don't think they make any change or cave in.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. Also, the only thing I did just want to add to that Jets thing is, and I mentioned this before, if Reddick pushes it all the way and he sits out the entire year for some principal thing, first off, he will be older. He's 29 right now. He turns 30 later this month. Happy early birthday, Haason Reddick, as we're talking about you here on the show. He will then be 30, set to turn 31 next year, and the Jets would still control his rights. So, again, what my father's saying is he has to toll. The contract has to count. It has to toll. If it does not count, he's going to be back here on the same exact contract next year with a little less money in his pocket because he would have been fined the entire season and each of those game checks, which rounds out to just about $800,000 from that perspective. All right, let's go to the phone lines. We'll finish up here because, again, we're going to be off the show around 8:30 because I can smell the bacon. The bacon is crisping out there. It's in the atmosphere. Can't wait. We have 500 people in the room. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. Let's go to the phone lines and bring in Terrence, baby, here on the program. Good morning, Terrence.
Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing?
Excellent, man. Excellent.
How am I sounding? Sounding good?
You sound crispy.
Good.
Crispy.
Okay, awesome. No reverb in there, is it?
No reverb. Just a lot of Terrence.
Awesome. Okay, so we got a week to go, guys, and I am super hyped. The only thing is that Monday night the Jets play, then 2 hours later you're gonna go on, right?
Yes, that's right. Yep, 2 hours after the final whistle, baby. It'll be probably 1 or 2 in the morning, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on there because that morning, the Tuesday morning, I fly to Cabo.
Yeah, baby.
I remember.
So I'm hoping
you'll be a happy man.
That Tuesday morning, what is it? Oh, it's gonna be like 5 in the morning.
Yeah, right. September 10th, right.
I probably won't do the Boy Green that morning.
It's okay.
But I'm gonna try to do it that morning. Hopefully we win, and I could be celebrating us victory with my best friend in the background upset. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah,
is that weird that one of the greatest joys in life is to make sure your friend is, feels like shit? I mean, because everybody, it's not a Terrence thing, it's an everybody thing, right? You're like, yeah.
No. Well,
like the shit talking is like one of the best feelings ever.
Terrific.
Yes. Well, I met him in 1988. We were freshmen in high school. And then he left sophomore year. I stayed the other 4. He went to another school. So we've been friends ever since. So ever since the 49ers played the Jets, we always go together. We always get at each other. So like when the Garrison Hurst run, remember that 90? Yeah, he got me on that one. Because remember, back in those days, there was no cell phone. So he left a message. You know what I mean? On my home line. Stuff like that. So it just comes to a point where it's like, wow, I can't believe that we're turning 50. Well, he's turning 50 before me. He's turning 50.
Yeah.
I've known him since 88. That's a very long time. And here we are going to be in Cabo, Mexico with the Jets whipping the 49ers ass and me able to gloat for the next 4 or 5 days that we hanging out. It's going to be amazing.
I love it, baby. Yes. And man, you could say, take this, Garrison Hurst, you bastard. Yeah, there you go.
And I don't see, you said somebody was predicting us to lose 8 games?
Yes. Yeah. So Mike Clay himself, he's very high on the Jets. He has them as the 3rd best team in the league, thinks they're going to win the Super Bowl. So he's Mike Clay, one individual at ESPN. ESPN's metrics, like they have an analytics team that like simulates seasons and things, and they believe they will be 9-8. That's their projection.
But aren't we predicted to win like 12 or 13 of these games? Aren't we Vegas predicting us?
Yes, that's true. Right. The analytics you're talking about on a week-to-week basis, the ESPN FBI matchup predictor has the Jets as a favorite, like in all those games. So that math doesn't math, Terrence. You're right. Yes. Yeah.
So I don't see. And then like I told you when I first came on here and I was talking to you guys, I want to do something where we're pairing each category, like quarterback to quarterback, against the team that we're playing against. And if you go through all of these teams, and you match quarterback to quarterback, offensive line. If you go down the line like the Madden checks,
Yeah,
we're checking more the boxes than any of those other teams we're playing against.
100%.
So these guys are just talking out of their butthole. It got to be. You know what I mean?
Seems that way. Yeah.
Like Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
You know, and then
Oh.
with Garrett Wilson and me, think about it like this. All right, week 1, he gets 8 or 9 catches. Which, is that a lot in a football game? Is 9 catches a lot?
Yeah,
It is?
yeah. I mean, like I said, it depends on the team. I've seen plenty of really good teams have really good quarterback wide receiver combinations that are cranking out those kinds of numbers. So it just kind of depends. Plus, obviously, we're in a passing league now, so it's even more souped up. You get 17 games. So yeah, Garrett Wilson's going to get targeted a lot. Yeah.
So we're going to play
153 catches in the year. That's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what's that? I have to double check what the record is right now. It's a really good number. It's really high up there. So I'll have to double check that.
Okay, so let's say Monday Night Football, week 1, the entire team has a boulder on their shoulder, waiting to go out there, waiting to show the world how good they are, and he gets 9 catches. They're playing against that defense. Then the next week they're going to play Tennessee. Their defense is not as good as San Fran. So let's say Aaron Rodgers goes, all right, we found something last week. They're not going to be able to stop us next week. Let's just say Garrett Wilson, one game, gets 18 catches.
Sure.
See? And that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking between week 1 and week 10, there's going to be 2 games where Garrett Wilson's going to go off. And it's going to make that average around 10 by week 10. And that's why I see that happening.
Yeah, because to your point, if you have those games you're talking about, which are certainly possible, of course, where you have these blow-up games, then the others, there can be an even-Steven nature where your highs, lows, mids, high, lows, mids, and then you add them up all at the end. Whoa, okay, we got to that number, 100%.
Yeah, and I think especially with all these one games where we're playing a Thursday night, we're the only team playing, or Sunday night. The first half of our season, most of our games is the one game.
Correct. We have, 6 or 7 standalone games because you got the London game, you got Thursday night football twice, you've got Monday night football twice, you got Sunday night football twice. Yeah, I think it's 7 games are standalone games.
Right, and you know what happens when these standalone games come up? The superstars come up too.
Of course.
So
Rodgers in the moment. Yeah.
Right. So Rodgers is going to come out. Wilson's going to come out. Priest is going to come out. I can go on and on and on and on with our team who's going to come out and want to play these games. I'm sorry, man. I don't see this team. At this point, I see this team losing 0 games. At this point, I can only see them lose if the game is over and they have a lesser score than the team they played. I can't see this team losing to any of these guys on this schedule I'm looking at right now. I'm sorry. Look out, guys. We are coming. I can't wait. Let's go.
Yeah. Damn straight, Terrence. All right, thanks for the call, brother.
Peace, guys.
All right, there we go, and we'll play this for Terrence. Why not? Beautiful, baby. Yeah.
Can we can't go the show without playing Hep, right?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, here we go. Play it.
Boy Green Daily, we're talking Jets. We are the best. Forget the rest. We're up to date. We're going there. Super Bowl's coming, so all beware. Yeah.
Hep doing God's work, baby. Again, we have nearly 500 people in the room right now. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe. That is how you spread the great gospel of Boy Green Daily. And we have time for one more caller. We'll go to the legend himself. Let's go. I don't know. We always got to check if this is Bro Mac, C Mac, D Mac, E Mac, F Mac, mac and cheese, salt and potatoes. I don't know. Let's go to him. B Mac here on the show. What's up, B Mac?
Hey guys.
What's going on here, pal? We're a week out from the Jets game. What is this?
Well, I decided to give the Jets hat a rest, and I'm putting on my Yankees.
A rest? A week before the season? You're giving it a rest?
Yeah, a rest for now, for today. But I, put Yankees, baby. But hey, good morning to y'all. Great to see y'all this morning. 7 days away, a week away, to see the Jets back on the field, to see number 8 back on that field, slinging that rock around. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. And I got two two quick questions for you. But but first it's about the Jets question, and then the second one is about Josh Allen. But I'm gonna go to the Jets question first.
Okay.
I think a lot of people talk about the O-line and all that stuff, and they worry about the offensive line. Like on paper, like their starting unit is like you can't get any better than that. You know what I mean? Like it's way more improved than last year. Last year, I know going into the season, there was a lot of question marks about it. You know, Dwayne Brown, Mekhi Becton, but a lot of people are concerned about the depth. And y'all went and the Jets got Olu Fashanu for a reason, in case Tyler Smith missed some time. But do y'all concerned about the other depths like Max Mitchell or Carl Warner? Like, God forbid there's an injury. Do y'all think those guys can step up and fill the roles?
I do. Again, Joe Douglas fixed it. First off, the one mistake. Last year only kept 9 offensive linemen. This year kept 10 on the 53. I've been pounding that for months. You have to keep 10 no matter what. There's enough on this roster to keep 10. So, number one, Joe Douglas did that. Thank you very much. You have your starting 5, which I think are great. You have Olu Fashanu. He's your swing tackle now officially. He played both left and right during the preseason. It looked good. So, he's there. And then all those other guys, Wes Schweitzer, Max Mitchell, Xavier Newman, you go through those guys on the list and more, Carter Warren, add all the guys' names. You go to the list. They got starting reps last year, and now they're returning to their more natural positions as a backup. If they're going to be called upon, they have had experience playing last year. And I think, you know, when you play in an NFL game for the first time, sure, there are outliers where someone comes out and they're awesome. But there's a lot of guys that are nervous or whatever's going on, and they go through a lot of struggles. So to get that taste and to go through trials and tribulations last year, you know, there wasn't a lot of benefits last year. Last year sucked. I'm saying that to the 500 people in the room. Everyone knows that. But if there was a benefit, it was some of these guys getting those starting reps and starting experience, and now you're just a stronger overall offensive line. So yeah, to be honest, I feel really great about this unit, both starters and depth-wise. Again, if like interior-wise, like you have Wes Schweitzer, I think he's really good. Cole Laval's on the practice squad. I heard from some people that there's a path for Cole Laval, and I'll probably write a piece about this week when I get back to New York. Cole Laval has a chance to be active on the 53-man roster as a practice squad elevation, because we just have to stay tuned to the injuries from Max Mitchell and Xavier Newman. We don't know what their injury status is, but I feel good about Cole Laval, which again just speaks to the overall depth. Pop?
Yeah, I think the biggest concern is the chemistry of the offensive line, as I mentioned earlier. But and I agree with what Boyd Green said. I just have one quick question because you chose to wear that hat. How did you feel about the Yankees losing by a touchdown yesterday to the Cardinals?
Yeah, it's a heartbreaker. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, close.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the game, and you know, if the Yankees somehow fail, then you know what? At least they had a ton of success. You know, it's not like they're the Jets or a losing franchise who can't find their way, and they always, you know what I mean, and it's no tomorrow. But yeah, you know, look, you know, it's heartbreaking, but hey, what you gonna do? You know what I mean? It's sports. You win some, you lose some. You know.
When was the last time the Yankees won the World Series? By the way, just a question.
I think 2007.
2009.
2009.
Yeah.
This is a little awkward. But all right, yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Pop, for rubbing that in. But you know.
Yeah.
And then the one, yeah. And then the one question is, before I get to my Josh, you know, point quick.
Yeah.
Pop, you know, I know your son has the famous Aaron Rodgers Out of the Darkness book. I just want to let you know, if you want to change your mind about your opinions on Rodgers, read this book. His book is very fascinating. You know, it brings you about Rodgers' background and how he came up and family and the whole
His grandfather in World War II. There's some good stuff.
Yeah. Rogers' grandfather was a World War II pilot.
That's the opening chapter.
I think some kind of like 88 missions or something like it goes way back to his father's life. So I just want you to know, Pop, if you want to change your opinion, this book can change your opinion on Rogers. I'm just saying.
It can change your life.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, B-Mac.
I'm going to go into my Josh Allen point.
Yeah.
Now, I know, last week the players came out and said that, Josh Allen is overrated, and I know there was a lot of people that was, had a lot of mixed reactions on it, but I do kind of get what they're saying. I'm not, I do think he is a little overrated. Now, I think people misconstrue what overrated is. Like, you can be overrated and be a great player, you know what I mean, and be good and be great. But overrated means that you're not like as good as people try to hype you up to be. And I think with Josh Allen, as with all his talent, with all, again, to me, he's top 3, top 4 best quarterbacks in the league right now. I still think he's the best quarterback in the division. As much as I love Rodgers, I think Allen is the best quarterback in the division to proven otherwise. But I think Rodgers is like neck and neck. But I think I give Josh a slight edge. But I think Josh Allen, people talk about him like he's Patrick Mahomes, like he won a bunch of Super Bowls and he won a bunch of MVPs. And I think like a lot of people say that like people put him in that tier. And I think with Josh Allen, I just think he just needs to get over the playoff hump and get to win a Super Bowl, win an MVP, and then people can stop talking about him in that light. So I do get where they coming from. That I think he's slightly like I just think we put him on a high pedestal with a Mahomes or Tom Brady or prime Aaron Rodgers, and I just think that he needs to do more before we elevate him there. So what's your what's your response to what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, we'll get into that. B-Mac, I just want to thank you so much for calling in, and we'll respond to your thing, okay? Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, this is what I would say on Josh Allen. The thing that I think Josh Allen is a really great quarterback, but I think the thing that bothers me and I think a lot of fans is that Josh Allen doesn't get held to the same standard as other people. Josh Allen has a lot of dumb turnovers. He's led the league in picks. Like, he's been up there in turnovers, fumbles, and everything else, but he doesn't get held the same regard like Lamar Jackson. When he has mistakes and issues, everyone's like, Lamar sucks. He's a running back playing quarterback. But like when Josh Allen makes mistakes, for whatever reason, I don't know why the narrative is the narrative in the NFL. When he makes mistakes, we're all kinds of excuse making on this, that, yeah, he's a great quarterback, he's a gunslinger. Those kind of things happen. That's just what I just think if we had equal representation from a standard standpoint of judging quarterback to quarterback when they have problems, I think that's my beef. Again, he's a top 3 quarterback, top 4, whatever numbers you want to do. I don't think he's better than Mahomes, but he's a great quarterback in the NFL, and he's done really well. Any final thought on that?
Yeah, just on that. I mean, he is what he is. And, who is Josh Allen? Josh Allen is Brett Favre of this era.
Sure.
Right? A lot of risks, right? Throws the ball, slings it around.
Better runner,
Yeah, tougher. I mean, physically running tougher than Brett Favre. Yeah. Doesn't steal money from charities. But anyways, yikes. So I don't agree with the overrated. He is what he is, right? But he's got to do something if he needs to take that next step forward and be considered in that echelon.
For the people that say he's better than Patrick Mahomes, well, now's your chance to prove it, Slappy. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs traded away Tyreek Hill and said, we don't need him. And everyone was like, oh, boy, Patrick Mahomes, let's see how good you are. He's won 2 straight Super Bowls. Oh, okay, he seems pretty good. Okay, we've removed Stephon Diggs. Gabe Davis I didn't think was really good anyway. But anywho, you removed your top 2 receivers. Can Josh Allen, can high tide rise all boats? Can Josh Allen just be so good that he's Tom Brady? All these random-ass receivers he's played with throughout his career, and he just elevates them and make them way better than they are. That'll be the question that ultimately we'll find out from that perspective. Okay, we can squeeze in one last caller, and we'll have to do it quick here, but let's bring him in. He's also a Jets content creator, Jets Afterburner podcast represented here on the show. What's up, buddy? You'll get to finish off the show here with us.
Absolutely, man. I'll make it quick, man, because, again, I'm watching your show. You set the standard. You want to talk about standards? You're the man, bro.
Thanks, pal.
Listen, it's regular season week. Every Jet fan should be excited. But not only like kind of false excitement. It's not that. This is real deal right now. We've been waiting. I haven't had this kind of feeling since 98. And that's telling. 09 and 10. As much as I enjoyed those seasons, they were not even remotely close to 98. This is what I feel about this and how Aaron Rodgers brings that same kind of mantra what Parcells brought to this organization, accountability. So, yes, a lot of people are down on Lazard and all these other players, but as long as 8 is healthy, the Super Bowl is within our reach. And now what do I mean by that? Like week 1, next Monday night, I'm not looking for just be competitive. Those days are over, fellas. Those days are done.
Yeah.
I'm done with, maybe we lose 33-36. I will not be satisfied with that. It's done. Last year happened. We accepted last year bringing back the coaching staff, the GM, the whole gang back, the offensive coordinator. Now it's everyone's backs is against the wall. Let's win this thing. JETS, father, son, best combo in the world, man. Enjoy. God bless.
Thank you, brother. And yes, it is. So I will just give a shout out here to Snowball that the Imamji has been made, and he did well. I'll speak it for myself. I thought he did a terrific job. I'm seeing the emoji right now. It looks cool, but we can't release it to the universe until we get those necessary members now. We won't be getting it because I can smell the bacon, so we won't get it today. But I'm telling you guys, Snowball did an amazing job on this emoji. I'll let my father speak to it because he's looking at it as well, but I've just gotten a quick glance that we'll have to get the necessary members, hopefully leading up to the 49ers game a week from today. Again, we were 37 members away, and I believe we got 1 member on the show today. So we're 36 members away as of today from getting it. We'll see if we can get it at some other point. But, Father, go ahead.
Yeah, Snowball, amazing job. Amazing job. Some of these are over some of the ones of Dingle here, not so great, but that's not your fault. You only can, you can't make a statue out of crap without it smelling bad. But anyways, this is a phenomenal. I can't wait until it lands, but great job, Snowball. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so thank you to the 500 people that are in the room. Make sure you guys like the video, hit subscribe, whether you're watching live or after the fact. That's how you can help the channel and the show blow up. We'll be back on, what's today, Monday? We'll be back on tomorrow morning, Boy Green Daily. I'll be back in New York for that one. I'm looking forward to it. It was awesome spending family time here with my old man and my mom, who's out there making a wonderful breakfast, which is terrific. So you're going to eat breakfast, and then I'm heading on the road back to New York. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Can't wait for this week. It's Jets 49ers week. We're going to have all kinds of awesome guests. You're not going to want to miss it. And we got some guests coming on the show for the very first time. And I think you'll recognize some of those faces from television. So, guys, keep an eye out for that. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Any final thoughts, Pop?
Yep. Be on the lookout. Join Boy Green Coffee Club. Get on the Discord. You'll be able to see our picks, week-by-week picks, tracked and stacked. We'll see how it goes. Typically, Boy Dingle loses to me in the regular season pick, so you'll be able to see it if you remember the Boy Green Coffee Club. And I'll be back next Saturday, so looking forward to it.
All right, guys, in the YouTube description, one last thing. If you guys want to join the Boy Green Coffee Club and see what all this action is about, it's in the YouTube description. Join Boy Green Coffee Club here. Click, and you can become a member. Like I said, you can also gift memberships even when we're not live, so feel free to do that. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Take care.